In this week's Parsha, Parshat Noach, we are going to read for the first time about Hamas. Now, of course, the abbreviation of Hamas, whatever it means in Arabic or whatever it means for that group, is not the same as what this word means in the Torah. But this word hints, in my opinion, to the organization Hamas and to all the evil that it brought. And nothing is, of course, random if it happened to be that Hamas, for whatever their reasons, named the organization that way. Of course, in Hebrew, the word Hamas means something really bad, something really terrible. And that's what I want to discuss. This word Hamas appears in Tanakh a few dozen times, but in the Chumash it appears only 6 times. Really 5 plus one form Hamasi. In all the other cases it's just Hamas, and in one case it's Hamasi, a form of the same word. So it's not a very common word in the 5 books of Moshe, and in the later books of Tanakh it's somewhat more common. In particular, in the book of Psalms it appears quite often. What exactly does this word mean? So in our Parsha it appears twice. In Parshat Noach we learn about Hamas that filled the land. And that was what brought, of course, the destruction. This is the generation of the flood that the Torah is talking about, and it says that the earth was full of Hamas, and that Hashem said that because the earth is so corrupted and it's all full of Hamas, He's going to destroy the world, or part of the world, whatever the case may be. This is a separate issue, exactly where the flood was and what areas it affected. I'm not going to go into this right now. So the end of the flesh came before me, for the land is filled with Hamas. I will destroy them from the earth. Now, the other places where the Hamas appears in the Chumash include, for instance, an expression Ed Hamas, a witness that is Hamas. From the context, it means, of course, the false witness. It appears actually 2 times in the Torah, this expression Ed Hamas. In the book of Shemot, in Parshat Mishpatim, it says you should not be an Ed Hamas, a false witness. And in another case, in the Parshat, in the book of Devarim, and Parshat Shoftim. There's also, by the way, similar expression in Psalms. The Edei Hamas, the witnesses that are Hamas, false witnesses. But what exactly does Hamas mean? So there are different interpretations of this word, but I like, in particular, the commentary of Casuto, so I'm going to read it for you in English. I'll translate for you into English a part of that commentary, because I think it explains this word really well. He says like this, that in biblical Hebrew, the word generally refers to anything that's unjust. Hamas witness is a false witness. Hamas hatred, there is such an expression in Psalms, right? Hamas, sinat Hamas senuni, they hate me with sinat of Hamas, or the hatred of Hamas. What is hatred of Hamas? That's a hatred that has no justification, completely empty hatred. Then there's an expression of a person who did not do anything wrong. So he's called a person who did not do Hamas, didn't do anything bad. No crime. Or, for instance, right, this is in the book of Yeshayahu. By the way, this is a famous chapter of Yeshayahu, the 53rd chapter. The Christians love to quote this chapter because they say that it's talking about Mashiach. Now, among our sages, I won't hide, there are some opinions that it does talk about Mashiach, possibly. But, in fact, Ramban, who at some point had to dispute someone who was... he didn't really ask for it, but there was some Jew who converted to Christianity in Spain and was promoting this idea that the Talmud supports Christianity. And he forced Ramban to dispute in front of the king. I think it was only part of Spain, a certain province, Argonne, where the dispute took place. So Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, said, among other things there, exactly, of course, this Pablo Christiani, this man who converted to Christianity, of course, did bring the 53rd chapter of Yeshayahu. How could he not bring this is such a big thing by all the missionaries. So Ramban told him that, first of all, according to the simple meaning, it talks about the Jewish people collectively, not about one specific person, this whole chapter. This Eved Hashem, right, the servant of Hashem. A lot of places in Yeshayahu, the Jewish people are called servant of Hashem. In a number of places it says it openly. And in terms of the regular context, that's what seems to be the simple meaning of these verses. Both Rashi and Radak explain that way. But he admitted, yes, there are some midrashim who explain certain verses here with regards to Mashiach, but it couldn't possibly be about the founder of Christianity, and he explains why. So he actually wrote a commentary to this Yaskil Avdi, to this whole Parsha, according to the opinion that it's talking about Mashiach. He wrote a commentary and he explains why it cannot possibly be anything that has to do with Christianity. But I'm not going to go into this right now. It's completely outside of my topic of interest at this moment. I'm just trying to say that there it says about the persecution of this person, or collectively the Jewish people, if it's talking about the Jewish people. Maybe it's both. It could be that, it has both the meaning of the Jewish people collectively and the specific righteous person who is persecuted. And it says, Lo Hamas asa. He did not do any Hamas. He didn't do anything wrong. So this is the expression from 9th verse of 53rd chapter of Yeshaya. And similar expressions are found in Sefer Eov, but there it usually uses the word kapai, right, in my hands. There's no Hamas in my hands. Lo Hamas bichapai. Anything bad. Similar expression is found in Divre Hayamim, in the last book of Tanakh, Chronicles. So a lot of times you find psukim, various verses, where the word Hamas is related to and is a synonym of other types of wickedness. Ra, Rasha, Avla, Aven. And he brings a number of examples from the book of Yeshayahu, from the book of Jonah. Remember this city of Nineveh that was full of Hamas and other wickedness. Psalms in a number of places. And Proverbs. On the other hand, the opposite word, the antonym of the word Hamas, is usually uprightness and righteousness. Again, he brings a number of examples. For instance, in the book of Proverbs. So the Torah is trying to say that as opposed to Noach, who was completely righteous, his generation, the people around him, were all completely wicked, totally full of wickedness. So in our day, of course, we're all saying a lot of Tehillim, a lot of Psalms for the Jewish people in the land of Israel. Not just for the Jewish people, actually. When I say Psalms for the land of Israel, I don't just mean every Jew. I mean everybody. There are Arabs in Israel who fight in the Israeli army, who are completely loyal citizens. There are Druzes. There are all kinds of people. It's actually going to be good, in my opinion, even for the Lebanese people, even for the people who are now, they don't realize, but the hope is maybe one day they will realize that once they are saved from these monsters, like Hezbollah, and once the people of Gaza are saved from these monsters like Hamas, they will actually have a future, just like Germany had a future after World War II. So the point is that when we're saying these psalms, a lot of times we actually say the specific word Hamas in the psalms. Of course, it didn't mean what it means today, the organization Hamas, but it fits really well. Think about it, for instance, in the 140th psalm. It's a very good psalm to say during this time. It talks about the persecution of our people, how they're trying to destroy us, and it applies really to Hitler very well also. It applies to these people who know how to do propaganda, right? Hitler was a great orator. He was able to really talk really good, really well. Ish Lashon. It talks about this man of tongue. And similarly, today, Hamas's propaganda and those who help them around the world to promote their propaganda. Right? So these types of psukim, save me Hashem from Hamas, from evil men, preserve me from Hamas, deliver me from the hands of the wicked, preserve me from Hamas, from those who seek to undermine my steps, to destroy me. Let not a man of tongue be established in the land. Let evil drive the men of Hamas into a trap to push him down. Metzudot David explains to push him down into a deep pit full of fire. Really nice allusions to what is going on today. Let them all be bombed, let all the Hamas leaders be destroyed quickly in our day, so that we could see true peace come. And maybe we merit to see these words fulfilled.